So you have $10,000 sitting in cash right now. Do you put it all into the market today or do you spread it over the next 12 months? Vanguard studied 1,021 rolling 10-year periods across three markets and 90 years of data. The answer was very clear, but the data that they have is not the right answer for every single investor. So in today's video, I want to show you the specific framework of knowing which strategy is going to work for you and exactly how to deploy it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, before we define the data, I want to talk about the strategy precisely because this is the most common confusion, and this is where the debate comes in between dollar cost averaging and lump sum investing. When you look at lump sum investing, that means you're deploying your entire capital into the market the immediate day. If you have $10,000 today, it is going to be invested the first day that you have the ability to, completely done. Lump sum is the decision to put a specific pool of capital that you already have into the market. Now, dollar cost averaging on the other side is the context really of this debate, looking at the $10,000 and looking at it and putting it into fixed periods of equal installments. For instance, you could do $833 a month for the next 12 months, for example. The rest is going to sit in cash during the entire time that you're not deploying capital. Now, of course, this is completely different, and this is where people get kind of confused. When you look at monthly contributions that investors make from the paycheck, for instance, investing $500 a month, when the income arrives in a paycheck in a 401k plan or an IRA, that is not dollar cost averaging at all. That is just investing as your income becomes available because there is no pool of cash that's sitting on the sideline while you're doing the dollar cost averaging to be deployed. That is why when we look at dollar cost averaging versus lump sum, it only really applies when you get a windfall or an excess flow of cash. This could be a bonus, a large tax refund, an inheritance, proceeds for a sale of a house, something that is sitting in cash all at once, waiting to know exactly what your decision is going to be when it comes to the investment scenario. Now, when Vanguard published this, the real question was, which one is more meaningful for investors and where does it lean when we look at the data? And again, they analyzed 1,032 rolling 10-year periods across the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australian markets, over 90 years of data. And the title of the paper is called Dollar Cost Averaging Just Means Taking Risk Much Later. Now, here are their findings because I love the data, I love the analytics. So finding number one, lump sum wins a majority of the time. Lump sum investing outperformed 12 months dollar cost averaging in 68% of all markets, including the US. Across all three markets, it won over 2/3 of the time, roughly 67%. The mathematical reason, markets have a tendency to go up a lot more than they go down. When you look at the S&P 500, and that is the one market they kind of pegged this against, it delivered positive returns approximately 73% of all calendar years since 1928. That is incredible. We are almost looking at 100 years within there. When you hold cash and the market is rising, you are missing those gains. Statistically, the odds are in favor if you're putting the money and investing that money immediately. Finding number two, the win-loss asymmetry does matter. When lump sum wins, it wins by an average of 2.5 percentage points. When dollar cost averaging wins, it is about 1.8 percentage point. The magnitude of lump sum outperformance is much larger than the magnitude of dollar cost averaging, and the outperformance, even in 1/3 of the cases where dollar cost averaging actually beat lump sum, it beat it by less than the lump sum because of the percentages that you're actually gaining. And again, that is the increase we're seeing in the market. The expected value calculation favors lump sum investing in both the frequency and the magnitude that we see when it comes to investing in general. Finding number three, the time horizon widens the gap dramatically. When we look at lump sum, outperforms dollar cost averaging 64% of the time. When you start looking at 6 months, when we extend that to 36 months, that rises to 92% on average when it comes to lump sum investing. The longer the dollar cost averaging window is extended, the worse dollar cost averaging is going to perform in relationship to lump sum. A 24-month dollar cost averaging plan is not twice as safe as a 12-month plan. It is significantly more expensive when it comes to the expected returns we're seeing in the market. The one scenario where dollar cost averaging actually wins is when there is a sharp market downturn during that deployment period. When you invested $100,000, let's say on January 1st of 2008, it would have fallen down to $61,000 by March of 2009. That would have been a 38% loss. Dollar cost averaging during that exact same period would have caught the lower prices during the entire decline allowing it to perform better when the market recovered. The cost of lump sum averaging and very bad timing can have very bad and very painful short-term outcomes. Now, of course, when we look at this bigger picture, the data says lump sum, but the Vanguard research acknowledged the crucial caveat, and it applies directly to a majority of investors watching this video. They wrote an optimal plan, but on paper, it's worthless if you abandon this plan the first time it happens and the market does drop. If you invest $10,000 today and the market dropped 20% next month, are you going to hold it or are you going to sell it? Are you going to do what I did in 2008 and sell it at the bottom of the market? If the honest answer is you would sell, the dollar cost average is not an inferior strategy for you. Dollar cost averaging is going to be the strategy that keeps you invested in the market. The dollar cost investor that is averaging that $833 a month and holding all the way through that 20% decline in the market is going to be better off than the lump sum investor who deploys $10,000 and then sells out in the entirety when the market hits the bottom. The behavioral return matters a lot more than we see the theoretical return when it comes to really calculating exactly what it is. Now, here's a complete framework. I want to look at 4 different situations here, giving you a very clear answer for each of these, because again, I love data, I love analytics, and being able to share it with you guys is really cool. So situation number 1, you have held through crashes before and you have a very long time horizon. Verdict in here, lump sum 100%. Data is on your side. You will hold through all of the volatility we see. Deploy it today in something like a VO or whatever your portfolio is built up. Every day you wait, every time that money is on the sideline, it is an upside that you're not capturing. Situation number 2, this is your first large investment and you've never held through that 20% decline, or you sell out when the market gets rough. In here, it is going to be dollar cost averaging 6 to 12 months. Not because it will beat lump sum averaging when you start looking at the total return, because statistically it will not. It is because you're an individual that panic sells, and during the lump sum, the first correction, you're going to go ahead and sell like you have before. That would ultimately pull everything out of the market, locking in all of those losses. The strategy of doing the dollar cost averaging, even though again, statistically it's not going to be better, you want to make sure that you also shorten the time frame, 6 months really at maximum, not 12, not 24, 36 months to deploy all of that capital. Situation number 3, the CAPE ratio right now is at 40, and some people will go ahead and do a split the difference. What they'll do is if they have $10,000, we can deploy $5,000 now, 50% as a lump sum. We can even look at, let's say, the next 6 months of deploying that last $5,000 in there over the next 6 months. If the market corrects, you can actually deploy money a lot faster. If it rallies, guess what? Bonus for you. You were already 50% invested at that time. It is a hybrid approach that acknowledges both the data that we see behind all the information and also the current valuation environment that we're seeing without giving up the losses on either side. And situation number 4, you're regularly investing money from your paycheck. Verdict, this is not dollar cost averaging. This is not lump sum investing. You're investing your income as it arrives. It invests and it hits the account when you get paid. Every Monday, I add to this portfolio automatically through M1 Finance. There's no dollar cost averaging debate here. The cash arrives in the account, the cash gets invested. The only debate is really getting into the lump sum, sitting, and if I did have money sitting on the sideline and waiting for deployment. So here's exactly what I do and why. Because when I look at this portfolio, I use actually both of these strategies, and I've used both of these strategies for different reasons. Number 1, I do regular contributions, lump sum immediately, and I do it every single Monday. Income arrives, it gets deployed into my M1 Finance allocations like we've seen. Same percentages and weights that I've held for almost 5+ years now. No decision making, no timing the market. The Monday automatic contribution removes the entire question of regular income. I actually have a large portion of my paycheck that goes into my M1 Finance account. It sits there and it just waits to deploy all of the capital every Monday morning. Now, of course, when I've gotten a windfall capital, I would go with the hybrid approach, looking at the overvaluation, which some people say in the market, deploying 50% of that capital immediately as lump sum, looking at dollar cost averaging over the next 6 months, not the next 12 months, 1, 2, 3 years. And I think really you cannot time the market. When I know from 2008 that you cannot, when I sold everything, I want some money on the sideline, and this is how I do with kind of dollar cost averaging. That way, if there is a pullback in the market, I have the ability to actually deploy market because that option has real value. And if the price never falls and the market continues to run, I already have 50% already in there capturing it from day one. If the market does pull back, I am still dollar cost averaging into that position. The one non-negotiable rule, regardless of the approach you use, the cash waiting to be deployed in that dollar cost averaging should not be sitting in a checking or savings account. It should be sitting in a high yield savings account or a money market that is earning 3, 4, 5% while you wait. You are not looking at timing the market. You're structuring the deployment that you know you're going to essentially send that cash out for investment. And there's no reason to be earning zero cash at that time when you have a very specific deployment schedule. So here's the complete framework, guys. Lump sum wins the data debate 68% of the time historically, with an average of 2.3 percentage points of a return at a CAPE ratio of 40. Really, deployment is stronger than usual, even though the markets seem a little bit overvalued. For the first time, investors who have never held through the crash, dollar cost averaging is going to be the best method to provide higher behavioral returns, not just the money returns that you're going to get, because if you go in lump sum and you abandon it and you sell, you're going to be very, very hurt, very detrimental. And you might do what I did and sit on years and years of interest and really the growth that I did not see. Now, the answer for this strategy is going to be the actual execution under pressure, not the one that really in the averages assume is going to be absolutely perfect. Drop a comment down below. Are you sitting on cash right now before you made a decision? Tell me your situation. Are we looking at a windfall? Is it regular income? Are you a first-time investor? And I will tell you in the comments exactly which approach fits to you. I read every single comment. I will reply to all of them. Subscribe if I gave you some clear framework when it comes to investing. And of course, drop some of your common investing questions down below, and I'll catch you in the next video.